So we clipped the tree, and near as I can tell from the mark here, I think that this rod here slipped that way because the steering column would be straight up and down. And so I see that spot there. So I think if we loosen here, we loosen there, we slide this all back over, and then we have space to put the cap back on. Now I think the cap might be hurting, but that's an easy fix. So easy stuff.
Really? There it is.
I love how it's all caked in ferns. So which tree do you think it was? Let's recreate the scene. Recreate the scene here. There's a chunk.
Yep.
All right, we gotta go find the trunk. Chunk.
Over here. Wrong way.
So you came around because we were hanging out, and then we heard the whump.
Yeah, there's a chunk over there.
Wow. Yeah, so you probably hit the tire head on. It burst, cranked this way, because that's probably the control arm hitting there. And
If it went that way, then I would have just hit.
And then which way did you go? You going on this side of the tree? Oh, you went on this side. Okay, so it hit and then swung the whole thing around, and you went down that way. That's the biggest chunk. That's a record for chunks and trees so far.
Chunks of trees.
Yeah, I have smaller chunks of trees.
Oh, these are the 3-bolt pattern. Well, that's easy. I got already inflated tires in spares. Like that upstairs is just full of tires.
Will they fit?
If they're 78 mil, they might. All right, what do we got? Yeah, because it was your front right that hit the tree, because then the momentum bounced your back end around.
I still have no idea how that happened.
So it's like it
How
floats on the mud there, so you don't get the same traction with the ATV.
Yeah, I can tell.
Because I've often thought that I might have to cut 1 or 2 trees if they don't get removed on their own.
That's a little big tree to remove on its own.
Rack and pinion versus pine tree, huh?
I have found out which one.
Which one's got the pinch? Oh.
Did it literally pop the tire?
Yeah, it burst the tire.
It takes a lot of force to pop a tire like that, but it means you were going probably a little too fast.
I was barely hitting the pedal.
Famous last words. I was barely hitting the pedal. I was barely hitting the booze.
I wonder if we get the front end up on a block, if that'll make it easier to move. Get the weight off the steering.
Yeah.
I think.
I mean, the last I saw the other piece of plastic was on this go-kart.
That's it, yeah. That would be the last time we did see the rest of those pieces. Okay, she's loose.
So did it go back to place?
Yeah, it would. There goes my safety glasses. It would seem the reservoir was stressed. Trying to decide if that's a.
Did it break it?
That maybe. It seems wet. I'll have to wipe that. So the reservoir might have been nicked. But yeah, the whole thing I just shifted left to right. So when I slid this bar back to the left, now the tires are back in a line. So this thing isn't.
So.
Bingo. So what we got to do is we got to tighten this down so the bar doesn't shift.
Yeah, we got to do that.
And then once we have that, we have steering back, put air in the tire. But we probably won't have front brakes until I figure that piece out.
There won't be any way to pressurize the system.
I can also put a racket strap over this to kind of keep pressure on it. So let's see if I go. Let's see, it's not holding any air. So what we're going to do, put a big strap on there. Yep. And we keep cranking, and it's going to put pressure and pull the tire out. So it keeps squeezing, pushes the tire to the rim.
Can you hold this?
And that'll give it enough, hopefully enough pressure there we can put air to finish popping it, and then it'll hold air. All right, that might be enough.
Break it.
That might be enough. All right, let's squeeze this side a bit. Yeah, even it out. Even it out. All right, here we go. Let's see if we can hold some air this time. See that?
Yep.
Look at that, right off to the rim. Now, we're gonna loosen this. Not lose a finger in the process, because
Hopefully. You tighten that too tight.
oh, but that's the idea. We needed
Yeah,
it to
you
get
need it
tight
tight.
enough to hold a seal. Now, you take it off and see it's still holding air. Now we're gonna give it a little bit more.
Bubbly.
Boom. So now, one question: is the rear brake system separate from the front brake system?
Well, wait. Oh, because you can
Is it
use
one
the hand
reservoir?
brake.
You could use the handbrake, but this disc feeds up
Nope.
to the same reservoir.
Yep, it's all.
So all the brakes are connected there.
Yep.
So I'll have to fix that, or we will be going and not stopping. But it looks like everything else is good. Voila, we could be a pit crew. We'd be a few laps behind.
It's alright, it's the Le Mans.
It's the Le Mans.
Yeah, we got time.
Back to riding. So for this one rallying, it's going to be good lap times because there's no way to slow down. Rally to something breaks and keep rallying with what's left. We got another go-kart in the trailer.
You had another ATV in the trailer.
I have another ATV in the trailer, yes, and the trees know that ATV very well. For the other piece we have to fix today, your exhaust rattled out because
You are batting 1,000 today.
is we're gonna turn off the fuel.
Nah. We need to.
And then
It's not hot.
we're gonna tip it right up and get at it easy. Is the fuel on or off? Did we?
We didn't turn it off yet.
Fuel is off.
Yeah.
And let's see where she sit on her bar. Maybe if your dad stabilizes it a little bit.
Hold it right here.
So what happened right here is these bolts came off. So this part of the exhaust came loose. So we're gonna sit that back on there. And now the question is, I had those parts. What did I do with them? Check in my pocket. I got some Loctite this time. I have some spare bolts. What else do I have? Oh,
No, it's
and,
all cool.
and I have a wrench. So,
How much ATV stuff do you have in your pocket every day?
yeah, on a daily basis, Uncle Jimmy is a walking pit crew.
It smells like fuel.
It does smell like fuel.
Where's it dripping from?
Fixing it.
Oh, it's probably coming. Oh, it's gonna go into the air filter from the bottom of the bowl.
That's not gonna.
It'll
that's
run
not
like
gonna be
nitrous for a little while.
So, what we're gonna do this time
I'll go get you one.
is we're gonna squeeze some temporary Loctite, the blue Loctite, down in there, and that'll make the nuts sticky, so they won't pull off as easy. Spin these down nice and even like. One. What we'll do is we'll crank it down, then we're gonna put a second nut behind it because I don't have locking nuts.
That.
I saw that post move a little bit there. Yeah. And I like these because then the threads don't get all rusted.
Oh boy.
That feels snug. Let's tip her down. See how we flooded it. Ugh. All right.
Show him that thing. The inside.
Seen better days.
He passed the lucky spot.
The lucky spot.
The unlucky.
Probably do that with a helmet on next time.
There's still 2 bolts. Chloe hopped off the paddleboard. It's a bit of a mess, I know. But today we have somewhere in here is the replacement part for the red buggy. here we go. So this is the master cylinder setup for the Kandi 110cc. Found this for 22 bucks. Ultimately, what is this reservoir is a little cracked, but it's, you know, hasn't given out. And really the piece that was damaged was the lid. And so here's the lid, which got all cracked up along the side. So we couldn't get a seal in there for the battery. This is a 58 millimeter lid. I did find some of these available on Amazon. However, on Amazon, these were all coming from China. So they would take 30 days to come in, as opposed to about 4 days on Amazon Prime. You know, 2 days if, you know, pandemic notwithstanding. So put the cap on, didn't actually have to add any brake fluid to get it going. My nephew wanted to come over and help me put it back together, but there really isn't any need for him to come help me put a cap on. Yeah, he was really great helping me troubleshoot and get it all lined up and figure out what was wrong with it the other day. So I'm going to tighten down the cap and see if we are back in business. And if you're paying attention around me here, there's another project coming. In the corner here is a Tao Tao Coolster, one of the two I got to figure out. Another 110cc, but this one also has the big 16-inch tires as compared to the 14s on the baby quad. These are the same size tires that I had on when I did the baby quad gets beef video. So we have a full rolling chassis here right now. Looks like the electric is pretty much intact. This was an ATV that my nephew was riding, and then it basically seized up in the woods and didn't start since. And here is one of 2 spare motors that we have. We believe something may be wrong up under the piston up here. And we have boxes. We have a spare motor. We have calipers. We have plastic gas tanks. We have all kinds of stuff. So coming up, I'm going to start tearing into these motors and seeing if I can get a working motor and seeing if we can get another rolling quad out of all this effort. But for now, let's see if the Kandi is back in business. Take it out of gear, how's that? Yeah. A little bit of an oil leak. Not bad. Not bad at all. Brakes are holding. I didn't have to add any fluid. Caps holding. Running fine. Tires holding air. Steering's there. Still wishing I had some Zerk fittings up front to lube things up. A little bit of squeak, but we are back in business. We're rocking and rolling. So now I can turn my attention to other fun projects, like the next potential baby quad build. As always, thanks for watching. If you like the content, like and subscribe. We'll keep on building here. If you have questions, feel free to reach out in the comments. I'll answer what I can. And we're going to see what we can learn on this next little 110cc motor. See if we can find out why it's stuck and if we can get this other rolling chassis pulled together. So until next time. Yeah, what I did is, you know why it happened? Because I stood up on the foot pegs to get my weight off the seat.
Off the seat as you went over that?
As I went over that bump, and then like...
And then you landed.
Yep.
I'm surprised you
All I
didn't
do
break
is I
something.
look up and I'm like, and I see you doing this and I'm like,
Uh-oh.